Ladies and gentlemen, Herschel Walker is on pace to win the runoff. You can look at the Libertarian Party's 81,000 votes. And you had Herschel Walker less than 40,000 away from Warnock. With the Libertarian Party, now, I don't mind people voting Green or Libertarian. Years ago, before I became a supporter of Donald Trump, I voted Green. Okay, I was on the far left. And if you have critical thinking skills and you're on the far left, you eventually become a supporter of Donald Trump. We had record low poverty in 2019. We have an anti-war, anti-interventionist foreign policy with Trump. He goes up against very corrupt actors within numerous agencies, from Intel to loyalists of the Democratic Party and other departments of the government as well. Anyway, we can go in. Look, they blamed Bernie Sanders, or they accused Bernie Sanders of honeymooning in Moscow. They did the same thing to Bernie that they did eventually to Trump, and they fabricated a dossier, accused him of being a Kremlin operative. The Mueller probe completely exonerated Trump. They were going to indict him for despicable, illegal behavior, Trump, and they didn't indict him for anything. It's been 7 years. I don't mind people voting Libertarian. What I do mind is a very disingenuous, counterproductive, like this worship of media. If you're a Libertarian right now, and you don't have the critical thinking skills to vote for Herschel Walker over Warnock, I don't know what to tell you. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen, right now. If you're a Libertarian and you're voting for billions sent overseas to a never-ending conflict that could lead to American soldiers involved, if you're voting for an interventionist foreign policy and you are a Libertarian, when you know very well Trump Republicans are anti-interventionists, when you know very well Trump Republicans are the less militant, the less hawkish, you are literally voting for the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld people if you're a Libertarian. Hit subscribe to this channel, people. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel, H.A. Goodman's other channel. If you want to support my work, my Patreon is below. So is the Super Thanks. If you want to be part of a newsletter, go to contactgoodman88@gmail.com. You are voting for more government intervention, not less. If you are Libertarian, the antithesis of Libertarian foreign policy, I like Rand Paul. Years back, I wrote an article about how much I liked Rand Paul in the Huffington Post. I like Libertarian foreign policy generally. That's like Trump foreign policy is very much Libertarian foreign policy. You're not going to send billions into a quagmire. You're not going to get into a quagmire. You are opposed by Lincoln Project foreign policy. Or Libertarians oppose the Lincoln Project. So in terms of foreign policy, there's no point to voting Warnock. I don't get it. The Green Party, when I voted Green, that's because I knew Democrats were the militant party and Green Party was less interventionist. So foreign policy was what drives me. And I was on the left, and I was still stuck in that matrix where, oh my God, I couldn't vote for a Republican. But Warnock is the first person to vote for never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, the first person to pontificate about the planet and then flood 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves, which is what Biden's administration has done. Libertarians generally want less government intervention. You are literally voting for more government intervention if you vote for Warnock. Now, it's not my style to lecture people, and if I'm wrong, I do apologize in terms of whatever your philosophy is. If you are a Libertarian voter in Georgia, a red state, if you are going to vote against your interests, your stated interests, which, by the way, I respect, there's a lot of Libertarian, political philosophy that I do respect. You should be able to live your life as long as you're not hurting others and do what you want to do. Okay. Second Amendment, Libertarians. First Amendment, Libertarians want to uphold the First and Second Amendment. Warnock will literally try to erase both. The censorship, Libertarians are against. Trump Republicans and Herschel Walker are against also. It's Warnock who would love Twitter to go back to the old moderation team. I just, like, in the comment section, everyone stay respectful. I would love to hear a libertarian viewpoint as to why they'd vote for Warnock. I just don't get it. But if you look, ladies and gentlemen, generally libertarians are going to vote Republican. So I'm kind of preaching to the choir here. Now, I don't know how the RCP average says Warnock plus 0.9, but Walker is up. Herschel Walker is a legend. He is a business owner. He's a successful business owner. He is a legend in Georgia, Georgia Bulldogs, the University of Georgia Bulldog, and a legend in the NFL. And he's an icon in terms of American sports culture. And if you're in your 40s or even late 30s, you know how important Herschel Walker is to a lot of people, including myself. I love the USC Trojans, but I do love Herschel Walker, Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, Michael Jordan, Barry Sanders, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So, like, the 80s and 90s are very important to me, not just in terms of sports, but in terms of their impact on society, the people I mentioned, and a lot more people. So Herschel Walker is not just like, when they go after him and they say, Herschel Walker and Fetterman. No, Fetterman couldn't pass a sobriety test. Herschel Walker definitely could. And if you're talking about a regional dialect, that shows your bigotry. Okay? He's objectively very intelligent. Not objectively like Pennsylvania senator who couldn't pass a simple test. He would be taken into the station immediately. So would Mashed Potato Brains, our president. But here, you look, and it's like, he won 2% of the vote. He could decide who wins. So who will win over the Libertarian vote in Georgia? So this man, I have no clue. Like, this is the thing. Hey, more power to you. I actually like third parties, but you're not doing, like, if you voted Green in 2016, you weren't going to get anything from the Democratic Party, not from Medicare for All, but in terms of foreign policy. And I've moved away from that many Green Party policies, especially focusing on one country in the Middle East and ignoring everybody else. But I am an I am opposed to never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. I don't know why Mr. Oliver, the Libertarian in Georgia, would vote alongside or would roll the dice and potentially help the Lincoln Project win, because the Lincoln Project is embedded within the Democratic Party. Now, I get it. It's actually more power to him. So he's building these people are building the Libertarian Party. Fine. But you are also now potentially putting us closer to a nuclear confrontation if Warnock wins. Well, we're already in a confrontation, possible annihilation. And I'm speaking in roundabout terms, but look what's happening in Europe. That's the antithesis of Lincoln Project foreign policy. Again, you vote Green in 2016, that's very logical because Democrats were not going to give anything from Medicare for All. They weren't going to give anything. They're flooding 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves. They're good only at pontificating and preaching and talking about the Green Party policies that they'll never implement just to get liberal Democrats or the far left to vote Democrat. So the Green Party is completely different from the Democratic Party. Likewise, Trump Republicans are completely different from the Democratic Party when it comes to foreign policy and also economic policy. So I just don't get it. Like, if you're a libertarian, you don't vote for Herschel Walker, I don't know what to say. You're literally voting against your own interests. So, because libertarians generally side with Republicans, especially Trump Republicans, because Trump Republican is the most libertarian Republican we've had in a long, long, long time, there's no doubt that Herschel Walker is in the driver's seat and he's winning. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe. And the polls show that too. It's a red state. My God almighty. The Georgia Republican Party should hopefully do what it takes legally, above board, just like the Democrats do legally, to win. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now.